So let's have a look at let's just summarize what we spoke about last week. We said, let's set your new distributor some pre-business launch homework. These are things that they can do in their own time. They're very important, but they must do these things before you even get to doing the getting started meeting. Things like understanding the company's values, making sure that they understand they've made the right decision, they're with the right company, they're building the business at the right time, understand their first steps, complete the details, spend time exploring the technology and the digital tools, start defining their why. What is the reason they're building a business? What is the reason that's going to motivate them to get out of bed in the morning, motivate them to step out of their comfort zone, motivate them to do what they got to do to succeed in their life, get them to complete their goals, and start setting their income goals. How much money they actually want to make through the business. That's the pre-launch homework. And I've summarized it here. These are the pages that this stuff can be found on. Then at the first part of the business launch, whether you're doing it a one or two part business launch, that doesn't matter. Briefly go through their homework, ensuring that they have a good understanding and handle any questions that they might have with their pre-homework. Discuss and reconfirm their why and get them excited about their goals. You want them them to be jumping out of their skin because they're so excited about their goals. Discuss their monthly income targets and get to understand how that money would impact their life. Get them to communicate that to you. And based on that, discuss what their rank advancement goal would need to be to achieve the income targets. Now, you don't have to get too technical on this part in the beginning, right? But this is a great opportunity for you to sow the seed of director, because anybody who wants to achieve significant success in this business, director is a non-negotiable step. So you can say you're a new distributor right now. Within the next 6 months, 8 months, whatever you set that time, you need to get to director. That is the goal, because as a director, you're going to start hitting those income targets, or you're going to open up you're going to unlock the next level of income, which is going to open up your income goals and targets. And talk about the fast track to director. And so that's out the way. Now we kind of shift into the second part of this getting started meeting, which is the 3 daily success habits, what they actually have to do to build this business, right? What they have to physically do to build this business. And number one, we talk about them using the products. And in the getting started meeting, don't spend too much time on this, but it's very important that you start helping them define their health goals, their health challenges they want to overcome, or their health goals they want to achieve in their home and their body. And then you help them put together the products that they're going to use on a daily basis to achieve those goals. Simple, right? Spend time, do this. This gets them on the daily usage track very effectively. We start to help them form their stories. Now, these aren't they're not very detailed stories, but basically you're helping them figure out why they are using the product and what are the results they're going to get from the product. If they haven't got a product result yet, what is the result that they're going to get from the product and why they're excited about it. Okay, that's their product story. And these stories are going to be very useful in sharing the product and opportunity down the line. And not only do you need to help them formulate a product story, but get them to start formulating a business story. What were they financially struggling with their finances, with their lifestyle, the kids' education? Why did they join Nearlife? And if they haven't made money from their business yet, which they probably haven't if they're a new distributor, why are they excited about the future? What are they going to achieve through their Nearlife business over the next 6 months, over the next year? That is their story. And this getting started guide just gives you a perfect outline how in 5 to 7 minutes, you can help your new distributor define a product and a business story. Okay, now this is where the rubber hits the road. The daily success habit number 2, being able to share the product and opportunity. Now, this is something which I really recommend you do physically with them. This is a physical exercise. And remember, we said that in the first or third page of the book, we have this strong start tracker. And we want your new distributor to fill in their customers and distributors, at least 12 customers and distributors as soon as possible, okay? Because that means that their customer base is growing and their team is growing of distributors. And so we're going to start looking at, we're going to spend the rest of the getting started meeting helping them get their first customer or helping them get their first distributor. And so what we're first going to do is we're going to say, what are the kind of people that you're looking for in your business? Okay, we're not looking for the needy. We're looking for people who are capable. Let's start getting them, let's get their minds in the right place. If you start shooting for capable, successful people, you're going to get them and you'll get everyone in between. But if you start looking for the poorest or the most unhealthy people you know, then you're never going to get the real A players in your team. So we're looking for people of high character. We're looking for people of strong work ethic, people that are teachable, people that have positive attitudes, people who are financially motivated. They want to do something so they can improve their financial situation. People who have a heart to help people. We know in our business, if somebody doesn't like people, they're not going to succeed in our business. People have to have a heart for people. They determine, the slightest bit of wind isn't going to knock them off course. And people who enjoy working with people and building relationships. Don't judge by results, or we don't prejudge, but do judge by results. That's how we build a business. Okay. And so we start off by helping them create their hot list. Now, your homework last week was to start creating your hot list, people that you know, or adding to your hot list if you have that hot list. So I hope you've got your hot list in front of you right now. With your new prospect, you're going to give them 5 to 7 minutes to write down at least 10 to 15 names of people that they know, based on the criteria: people of good attitude, people of positive, strong work ethic, people who are financially motivated, people who like people. Start writing 10 to 15 names over the next 5 to 7 minutes of people that fit those attributes. That is what we are going to call the hot list. Now, I just want to say, this is something which it's not done in theory. You don't do this in theory. You actually do it yourself. And I really don't want you to do this with a distributor if you're not doing it yourself, because I think it was Sean Thorncraft. Sean, I hope you're on this call tonight. I saw a beautiful post of yours earlier that says you don't learn to drive in a parked car, right? You don't learn how to drive in a parked car. You learn how to drive when the car is moving. And this is exactly the same. So you write down your 10 to 15 names, and that name list is going to grow to 50 names, 100 names, and you're never going to stop adding names to that name list. Okay, so get your new distributor to do that. That's going to be the first warm list or hot list. And we're going to work with them in their warm market prospecting. Now, this is from a page in the book. The best way to start sharing is to start with your warm market. These are people who you already know. No matter how great you or the products or the business are, remember this: not everyone will buy from you. Okay, just make sure your new distributor is okay with that. Not everybody is going to say yes, and that's okay. So don't assume they will. Just focus on offering value. And if they have a desire and a need, then great. If not, no worries. And that is just such a positive place to come from, that it's okay if people say no. You've got millions and millions of prospects out there. And if somebody says no to you, that's not the end of the road. There are more people than you know what to do with that want to be in your business, but they just don't know it yet. And so give your distributors that confidence. And there's 3 steps to connect with warm market prospects. Number 1, pick somebody from that hot list. So you work with them and say, okay, from the 10 to 15 names that you got right now, I want you to pick somebody. And decide with that person if you want to lead with a product or business, with the product or the business. And so you'll say to your new distributor, okay, how do you know this person? Okay, they're a friend. Okay, how long have you known them? What do they do? What is their need? Do they have some health goals they want to achieve? Are they financially motivated? What is their need? And based on their need, you're going to help your new distributor decide if they're going to lead with a product or with a business. And number 3, you're going to help your new distributor start the conversation. Okay, and there's a number of ways you can start a conversation. I have either via WhatsApp, You can phone them. And now in this getting started meeting, this is what I recommend you do. I recommend you phone them. Okay, if they don't answer, don't leave a voicemail. Down the line, you can start using social media messenger to connect with people. You can do it in person. Don't overthink it. Just be genuine and straightforward. But in this getting started meeting, what I recommend you do is you use a phone call, because that is how you're going to get the quickest response. That is how you're going to, that is the quickest route from taking your distributor's hand and helping them get their first customer or first distributor. And in the book, I just love it. They've got warm market scripts. They've got scripts ready to go right there. And as you personally use them, you'll get to feel what scripts work for you, how you're going to use them, what scripts don't work. And so you can give your new distributor better direction if you are actively using these scripts yourself. And remember, the scripts don't have to be said word for word. These are just a backbone structure. You have to bring your relationship with the person that you're calling, your personality. That's up to you. But these just give a new person a backbone structure of what they got to say. So here's the first example. If you are connecting with your prospect on product. Hey, Mary, how are you? Not sure if you saw, but I've started my own nutrition business. And I've had some really awesome results. In the last 2 weeks, I've had more energy than I've had in the last 20 years. I think you might like the products. If not, no big deal. Okay, that's just a simple way. Now, obviously, you might say, hey, Mary, it's Drew speaking. How are you? Listen, Mary, I'm phoning for a specific reason. Not sure. Just tee up this script. Not sure if you seen, but I started my own nutrition business, and I've had some really amazing results. In the last 3 weeks, I've lost 4% body fat. I haven't been able to achieve that goal for the last 5 years. I think you might like the products. If not, no big deal. Now, if your prospect hasn't had a personal product experience yet, that's okay. They can borrow a story. I've got a colleague who has had amazing weight loss results. I think you might love the products. If not, no big deal. I've got a colleague, I'm working very closely with my sponsor or with a colleague that increased their energy significantly or brought down their blood pressure level or managed their blood sugar levels or whatever. You can borrow stories. That's why we share stories. And they're either going to say, not interested. Hey, that's okay. You can tick them off the list. Or they're going to say, hey, yes, I am interested. And so often if they're a warm prospect, they say, yes, tell me more. And that is where you said, great. Well, if I sent you a short 5-minute video, would you watch it? Now, before your prospect actually makes the call, you want to have them set up to invite them to a presentation, invite them to a health talk, invite them onto a Zoom call, invite them to a one-on-one meeting with you and their upline. Make sure the next step is predetermined before your prospect makes a call. Example number 2, this could be product or business. Hey, John, just phoning to check in with, John, Drew here. Listen, I'm phoning for a specific reason. I just wanted to know, have you heard of Near Life before? And they are either going to say yes or no, it doesn't matter. And you follow up that statement with, this may not be for you. I don't know. But I think you may really get excited about it. If I sent you some information, would you be willing to check it out? That's so simple. They're either going to say yes or they're going to say no. If they say no, fantastic. Move on to the next one. Tick them off. They say yes, make sure you have the next step set up. Okay, well, great. I'm running a presentation at my home on Saturday morning. Can I invite you as one of my guests? And commit them to it. Example 3, connecting in product. Hey, Jane, it's been a while and I definitely want to catch up sometime, but that's actually not why I'm reaching out. I remember you as somebody who really is into health, and I wanted to see if you'd be open to trying a product and marketing and give me some feedback on it. I've had some game-changing results. I've lost 4% body fat in the last 3 weeks. I'd be happy to send you a sample. Or I'd love to invite you to a presentation I'm doing on Thursday night online. I'd love to send you a a 2-minute product catalog to read? Would you be open to it? Okay, so this is just connecting with people. It's just conversations, just conversations. Okay, so let's see. Example 4. Hey, James, just curious. Would you be open to taking a look at some information on leveraging a game-changing health and wellness brand to make some extra money? No worries if not, just thought I'd ask. You're gonna say yes or no. Example 5. This could be, this is inviting for the business purpose. Hey, Mary, how are you doing? Drew speaking. Not sure if you saw, but I've just started my own nutrition business. I'm really excited about it. I've had great results with the products and I'm focusing on expanding my business. I don't know if it's a fit for you, but it'll be really cool to do this with you if you're open to it. If not, no worries. They're going to say no, or they're going to say yes, or they're going to say, tell me more. They say, tell me more, that's as good as a yes. You invite them to one of the following: a Zoom health talk, an up-and-coming company event, your team presentation, a presentation in a coffee shop with you and them, or your upline sponsor and you and them. Okay, so those are just some of the examples that we're talking about. So the warm market. Now, before we get onto the cold market, super, super important that you do a number of these calls with your new distributor in this getting started meeting. And my suggestion is have presentations set up. We know the best results come from physical presentations. We know that's the best result. And so make sure that you have a coffee shop meeting set up, or you have a presentation in the area set up, or you have some time slots for a one-on-one presentation. So when they are making these calls, they can say, great, let's meet. And they lock in that appointment. So off the back of this calling, you'd like to have 2, 3, 4, 5 presentations set up with your prospect. Okay, that puts them in a good position to find their first or second distributor. Now, cold market. Now, cold market, you would teach your prospect this, but it doesn't have to happen at the getting started meeting. I'd rather see you working that warm list, that hot list of theirs, and getting presentations locked in on that hot list. But this is something that you need to make them aware of, because they will be reaching out to people. Eventually, they're going to get to the end of their hot list, okay, over time, and they're going to have to start finding people that are not on the hot list, which we call cold market prospecting. But make sure that they don't go straight to the cold market prospect, because they cannot ignore their warm market. So important. Cold market prospecting is reaching out to people that you don't know. Remember to use the 4-step invite process. We're going to connect with people. Now, we showed you how to connect with warm market in those last examples. We're going to show you how to connect with cold market in just a moment. We got to discover their needs. We got to invite them based on a need that they may have for the product or the opportunity. And we got to follow up with our cold market prospects, and follow up with our warm market prospects too. So cold market script. Okay, the cold market script is connect with social media. This is a big one, especially for the youngsters coming up. Connecting with social media is a great way to find prospects. And you do this by sending them a private message. You don't write on their wall, you send them a private message, a direct message. And you might say, hey, Peter, I know we don't know each other, but I came across your page and I noticed you're from the same city or from the same suburb as I am. I'm expanding my business in your hometown, and I'm curious if you'd be open to taking a look at what I'm doing, if it doesn't interfere with what you currently do. If you are, great. If not, no big deal, no problem. If they say yes, you invite them to a event. You invite them to an online meeting. You send them some information. Now remember, cold market, you've got to be talking to a lot of people. And I was listening to a training session the other day where somebody was saying, you've got to be messaging 100 people a day in your cold market if you're going to get good results. We're talking big numbers here. If you're going cold market, they don't know you, they don't trust you at this point, they might not even like you at this point. You've got to talk to big numbers to get success in the cold market arena. Example 2, whether it's product or business. And this is assuming that you're already connected and you have already discovered a need. Okay, and you can just send a message. I have something that I think you really like. It will show you a solution to their need. They will show you how to travel overseas once a year with your family. They will show you how to lose weight. They will show you how to start a business or become an entrepreneur. They will show you how to buy your new car that you've been talking about. If I send you a video, will you watch it and tell me what stood out? Or will you watch it and tell me what you like best? If yes, great. Okay, you send them the video. Okay, if this response is wishy-washy, be strong. Say, hey, no problem. I'm going to respect your time. Okay, that's not a problem. I'm busy, you're busy. If you change your mind, you come back to me. Be strong. We're not begging anybody to join the business. Third example, connecting shared interests on social media. Hey, I saw your name on a common Facebook group in the local surfing Facebook group or the local squash Facebook group. I thought we should connect. If they respond positively, you say, hey, glad to connect. So what do you do? Remember, you don't want to dump what you have on them. You want to try and build that relationship, make some sort of connection, and wait for them to respond and tell you what they're up to. And once they tell you what they're up to, be friendly, be interested in them. Say, hey, that sounds awesome. Oh, what does that mean? You're an actuary. What does an actuary do? Tell me about it. How long have you been doing that for? Wait for a response. And then you can say, hey, nice. Do you love it? That must be so exciting. And so often people will often respond with the negative. People do. They might say, well, I do love it, but I just don't have enough energy to put the time into it. Or, hey, I've been doing it for too long and I'm not making enough money. It's boring me to tears. So often they'll tell you what is wrong with their finances, with their career, with their health. And you can respond. And you can say, well, that doesn't sound like much fun. Have you ever considered doing something else? Have you ever considered trying something else? And after their response, you might say, may or may not be a fit for you, but seems like it could be great timing. I'm focused on building a home-based business. And if you're open to taking a look at what I'm doing, I'm more than happy to share it with you. If not, no big deal. Now, remember, this conversation might not happen in a minute or two. This might be over a day or two where you message them and they take an hour or two or a day to respond, and then you message them again. But this is just building the conversation and building the relationship. And all these things are in the book. Get to know them. They're such a fantastic way to really learn how to effectively connect with people. Okay, so those are the warm and the cold market prospecting tips. Now remember, in the getting started meeting, don't focus so much on the cold market. That is what you'll train them on down the line. Focus all your time on the warm market and getting appointments through their warm market. Make as many calls as you need to make sure you got 2, 3, 4, 5 appointments locked and loaded over the next week or two, and so that you and your new distributor are busy. Because your responsibility is to work with them, not do it for them, but work with them and showing them what to do and how to do it so that they get their first 3 distributors in their business as soon as possible. Okay, now handling objections is going to be something. Now, you'll be working through this with you, with your new distributor, and helping them make these appointments, helping them invite to the meeting or send out a video or send out a product catalog or send out a sample, and you'll know everything that they've done. And so you'll be able to follow up with them. It's okay, so you spoke to John, you sent him a video on the distributor journey. Okay, when are you following up with John? Okay, and so help them through the follow-up process. Make sure your new distributor doesn't make 1 or 2 calls or send out a bit of information and sit back. You've got to help them through the follow-up process. Because remember, people are following up 6 to 8 times before they are getting a yes. Okay, 6 to 8 times before they're getting a yes. And in the follow-up process, your new distributor is going to get objections. They're going to get objections. We all get objections if we're talking to people. Objections are fantastic because I'd rather somebody communicate an objection to me than not, because if they hold the objection back, then there's a ceiling that you can't break through. But when they give you, they communicate their objection to you, that's great, because you can uncover their objection. You can give them a better understanding so they can make a better decision. We know our products are exceptional. We know our business model is outstanding. It stood the test of time. It works. And so there are no objections that we can't handle. There isn't one objection that we cannot handle, but we have to teach our new distributors and hold their hands through these objections. And so when making a decision, our brains automatically try and find reasons why we shouldn't do something. It's totally normal. And also why it's important to be prepared to handle objections that will come up. Your goal is to show them in a caring and understanding way that there is a better way to see the situation. That is what handling objections is all about. And in the Getting Started guide, we teach you the feel, felt, found method. Okay, I know how you feel. I felt the same way, but this is what I found. Okay, now this is very important, because so often people say it's a pyramid scheme. It's one of those things. The people at the top make all the money. They say those things, and I know it makes us super frustrated, right? And we want to come back out and we want to fire off the, well, you know, a corporation is a pyramid, or you know, we fire out these one-line responses, but then it kind of becomes an argument, and arguments never overcome objections. Where if you just break down the barriers and say, hey, you know, John, I totally understand how you feel. You know, when I first looked at this, the near life opportunity, I felt the same way. I looked at it, I thought, wow, that's one of those pyramid schemes. But this is what I found. I found that anybody can make money in this business. Everybody starts with the same product. Everybody starts with the same compensation plan, but it's the people that put the work in, and they are the people that get to the top and make the money. It doesn't matter if you joined 5 years ago. It doesn't matter if you joined 6 months ago. It's the people that do the work that get paid. And once I learned that, everything changed. Okay, so that's handling an objection as an example. And in the Getting Started guide, we have 3 of the most common objections. The first one, the products are too expensive. I can't afford it. And here are, I won't even go through them, but here are 3 possible ways that will help you overcome. Sorry, my dog is trying to join this call over here. Let's get rid of him for a second. It's thundering here. My dog really doesn't like thunder. The second objection is, I don't have time. I'd love to do it. I don't have time. You know, this is an important objection to overcome, because if they pose the time thing and they let that be the reason why they don't do this business, you'll never get them to join you. So it's important that you have a way to handle the time objection. And in the Getting Started guide, we've given you 3 fantastic ways to overcome that objection and get that person back on track in decision-making mode. The third, I'm not a salesperson. Great. There's 2 wonderful ways that will help you overcome that objection. And in your Getting Started guide on page, what is the page? 18, you'll see, I don't know if you can see it, there's a little QR code over there. Okay. Now, if you scan that QR code, that will take you to 16 of the most common objections and how to handle them. 16 of them. So very similar to these 3, but there's 16 in total. If you can't scan it on the QR code, you can go into your resource library. I think it is loaded under business and product guides. Okay. And then finally, the art of closing. You have to work through this process. You're helping them define their hot list. You have helped them connect and invite people of the hot list. You're helping them present, okay, either at group meetings or one-on-ones, or helping them send information and tools. You're helping them follow up and handle objections that are arising. We're doing this together with our new distributor. And now you're helping them close. And we call it the art of closing. You'll need to help people decide to buy product or to join the team. Here are some do's and don'ts to help you close effectively. Do, ask for the sale. You have to follow up once a person is interested. Never assume that they're going to order or join on their own. Okay, and I know a lot of us have experienced this. We have done a meeting and you you're a guest at the meeting, you've never seen a more excited person in your life, and they say they're going to do it, and you just think it's a done deal, and they never do it. Okay, don't expect them to close themselves. We have to take responsibility for that. Here's some things that you can say to help guide your prospects. If this looks good and feels right, I'll help you get started. Just give them an application form and a pen, or take them to your website and say, okay, give me your details. If it looks good and feels right, I'll help you get started. If there's anything else you need to know in order to get started, or is there anything else you need to know in order to get started? If you're not getting them over the line, find out what else do they need to know? What else do they need to overcome to get started? And they might give you another objection. Then you get back to handling that objection. Handle that objection and say, okay, great. If this looks right or feels right, I'll help you get started. Don't close too soon. Some people will be ready to buy and join right away, and that's great. Don't hesitate. If they're at the meeting and they want to do it, don't delay it. Get it done right there and then. But others will need more time. Follow up, build rapport, use your judgment. Okay, and that's important in this business. We need to have self-awareness, and we need to use our judgment. And always remember, this business is about relationships. That doesn't mean you should waste your time. If they're not interested, they move on. Okay, so build relationships, and don't be trying to close too early. Have that self-awareness, because if people stop taking your calls, they stop getting back to you, then that might mean something, that you are trying to close too early. They need their relationship to develop a little bit. And I know everybody on this call that has achieved success has spoken to people. Who was it? I was doing a meeting in, I think it was Cape Town or Port Elizabeth last week, and somebody said to me, I've had somebody who's joined me after, I think it was nearly 2 years. The first time they connected and invited them was nearly 2 years ago, and it's been a process. And 2 years later, they've joined. And there's been a constant process of following up, handling objections, overcoming those objections, building that relationship, keeping in contact. 2 years later. Do set realistic expectations. Don't give false expectations. Now, this is important in one of our greatest values of absolute integrity. For the business, make sure they know it takes effort to have success, but you'll be there to guide them and help them along the way. Allowing them to have a get-rich-quick mentality is dangerous for your reputation and ours. For the products, yes, our products work, but results will also depend on factors outside of your control. Factors like lifestyle. What are their lifestyles? If people are taking our products, but they're still eating rubbish and not doing any exercise, that's not good. Our products can't fix that stuff. Their habits, their daily use. Okay, those are factors that are going to determine the results of the products. Over-promising on results will set them up for buyer's remorse. Okay, so just remember those things in the art of closing. And as you reach out and connect and present and follow up and handle objections and follow up and close people, you will get better and better at this. These are skills, because the third daily success habit is personal development. And I believe one of the greatest aspects of our personal development is building the skill set that will help us share our product and our opportunity more effectively and sign up more distributors and get more customers into the business. 88% of wealthy people read 30 minutes a day. In this business, personal growth and development is critical towards achieving success. Our most successful business owners spend at least 15 minutes a day reading, listening, or watching content of self-improvement. The saying is certainly true. Quality of input determines quality of output. Okay, so I'm going to speed this up because I am running out of battery and I don't have any power. So books to read. These are just some suggestions. And what I would suggest to you is pick one of them, get a number of copies. When a new distributor starts, say, okay, this is the book that my team reads when they start, and set them homework and read the book with them or guide them through the book so that a book that is going to develop them according to how your team is developing. Pick a book, either one of these five books or a book that you might personally prefer, and then get them to attend events. Make sure they get registered for next year's Impact Summit. Make sure they are registered if there's a kickoff meeting. Set their next events that they're going to plug into. We know that people and distributors that don't plug into events have a shelf life in this business. Events are important to feed us, to help us build relationships, to help us see the bigger picture. These are just some of the things that keep us engaged in this business. Events are important for us to hear the stories, to build our belief, to build our skill set. So, excuse me. And then commit to success. This doesn't all have to happen in the getting started meeting. The most important part of the getting started meeting, after the initial laying the foundation, is helping them connect with their warm prospects, helping them set up those events. But keep working through this book with your new distributor and your team. So guys, I hope you are enjoying this getting started workbook as much as I am. There's so much content in this. And I'm just going to repeat it one more time. Work through it yourself, understand it and implement it yourself. You'll see your results change. And when your results change and you get good at this yourself, you'll become highly, highly effective at getting new distributors started right in your business. So everybody, thank you for joining this call. Thank you for your time this evening. We have 10 days until the end of September. Leave no stone unturned. Get in contact with your hot list. Get inviting. Get your 3 and 30. Make sure that your targets, your PV targets, and your sponsoring targets are dialed in, and you are running and doing everything you need to do to make sure that you achieve them. Qualify in title, minimum. Even better, step up in title. But the future is so, so bright. We appreciate you and what you do. We've got a big job to do because we are in the business of giving people the power to live healthy and happier lives. People need what we have. So good night, everybody. Go out there and have the most amazing week. And thank you to our translators. Ciao. God bless.